I'm formerly actually a user experience designer, and over the past decade, I've transitioned into engineering. And so now I'm a senior engineer with Valtech. But before I worked at Valtech, I worked as a self-employed consultant with museums. I got to play with Raspberry Pis and Arduinos and make a lot of tangible physical computing kind of things for in-gallery fun.
I am a delivery manager here at Valtech. My background is actually software engineering, and I actually have worked in AR/VR space for the last 10 years, building AR software, VR software, and the hardware.
I am a UX researcher and designer from Valtech's San Diego office.
Our charter was to make a co-branded technology demo that showed off augmented reality, but also showed off the best of Contentstack. We put together a list of what Contentstack's strengths were so that we could focus on those during our brainstorming. We had to figure out some kind of story to tell around this so that it wasn't just a technology demo.
My next question was, okay, then why the heck are we doing this in AR?
After we get all these ideas, like there's this big, but why though, that I'm always asking, like, you know, especially when it comes to this, like if we make this in AR, is it going to enhance the experience like in a needful way, not just a wow factor?
To me, AR is the end goal for everything. VR is intriguing, it's interesting, but it can also be isolating because you are in that experience by yourself.
So my first reaction was skepticism. But as we started talking through it, I realized that it was actually a really awesome idea, because I think a lot of the way that users want to consume information nowadays is in split-second pieces and very interactive, almost gamified experiences.
Since augmented reality is layering information on top of the real world, hopefully to make things easier and provide context, what are domains that have really complicated information that could benefit from a little bit of coaching or gentle nudging and explanation of their complex information? We did see a lot of clusters of ideas around vitamins, health, skincare, medicine, pharmaceuticals, beauty products, and then some technical things around software documentation and technology, a lot of things around education and culture, home goods and auto parts, things that require instruction manuals. IKEA is a place that has a lot of complex information.
So I think using AR to keep users engaged and keep them interacting is actually a pretty brilliant idea. So yeah, that was my first thought, was how do we make a lot of information consumable in AR? And then I kind of just, started brainstorming all different industries, like the museums, vitamins and health products, different workout regimens.
We plotted it all out in kind of a grid of Post-its, then we clustered it, then we voted on it. And out of that, the two industries that seemed to be the most popular were skincare and beauty and museums and education. So we had those two clusters, and then we moved on to the next thing. Now that we figured out what are industries that have complex information, what is their complex information? So we have things like cost, ingredients, what's the right formula to me, what's the details of these really complicated product families, what are the routines and when should I use things? Are there allergens, what your favorites are in a museum collection, images of objects and artifacts, who the creator was of an artwork. What are the narratives behind these stories, these artifacts that give them context? Things beyond just the names and the dates, which are complex information in themselves. The next question was, how can we personalize this information? Without personalization, a content management system like Contentstack is kind of just a big bucket for data. We were trying to think, what are ways that we can make this experience specific to a particular person?
To me, personalization is all about understanding exactly what they're thinking, because as much user research as we could do all the user research in the entire world, but everyone has a very distinct, unique experience and a way that they perceive the world, which is another fascinating part of my job. So it's about how we can use technology to really take that to the next level and say, you, Haley Sikora, this is exactly what what we predict you're going to want to see and the questions that you're going to have and the type of features that you're going to want to use and where your interests lie.
Showing the context of the history of makeup, for example, usage in fashion magazines, influencer content that is specific to what you're looking for, showing the origin of the ingredients, where the ingredients come from. Moving into the museum space, we've got everything from education-specific things, show physical trails between linked items in a collection, tour, scavenger hunt, quiz. In the closing discussion, we had some additional thoughts around text-to-speech. We discussed Contentstack has the ability to store lots of information, and a lot of it can be media. It can be video or audio or other things, but a lot of it is going to be textual information. One of the folks in our group brainstormed the idea that maybe we can go with text-to-speech, and we all ran with that. And that was kind of the seed of the museum idea in our pitch.